Bobby J, I'm going to throw it to you because so many missed opportunities in this game. And you say, man, how many times can this happen in a season? We've seen it time and time again. It's just not 1 week. It's over and over again, and almost like sitting on leads in the second half. Well, just nothing happening on the offensive side, the football in the second half.
Well, it's just embarrassing. I mean, you want to set positive records, not negative records. I mean, if you'd have told me that I'm with my friends or, whatever, and you're hanging out and, you're watching at the beginning of the game. And we go like we did against the Eagles. Now, the drive wasn't as long, but we were very efficient. We go 8 plays, 75 yards, 4-minute drive. We're up 7-0. And then if one of your friends were coming in late and he missed the touchdown, he goes, well, I wish I'd have been there because the Saints are not going to score again and they're going to lose 10-7. You'd have said, like, what? Are you a witch? Are you crazy? You'd have thought that never would have happened.
You can go somewhere else.
Yeah. It's like, come on. There's no way I thought with the great start that came about that this would have happened. They would have lost this type of game 10-7, but it is the Saints this season. I mean, when you look at it, to me, you should never lose a game. Never lose a game, and I could throw in a number of different categories. If you hold an opponent to 10 points, come on, offense. You hold an opponent to 10 points, you're not going to win 100%, but you got to win. You got to win those games. And then you throw in there, now, you +1 in the turnover margin, and that didn't make a difference. So you hold an opponent to 10 points, you +1 in the turnover margin. You hold your opposing quarterback this day and age to 43 yards passing. No, it's not in one quarter. That was for the whole game by Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold didn't make some plays with his feet. He broke some tackles. He averaged basically 5.5 yards a carry. He got 32 yards on 6 attempts. So he did extend plays. But still, 43 yards passing. Mike, I've seen quarterback ratings in the teens, maybe like 17 or 18, and you might say, God, boy, how did they win that game? We're lucky. This might be a negative record, 2.8. He had a QB, we always want to be like Jesus. 90 plus, 100. He had a quarterback rating of 2.8. That means Sam Darnold. And so that combination, I don't know, some caller or some Who That Nation member is going to let me know. And I told Charlie, I got to find that out. Because if you own an opponent 10 points or less, you +1, you give up under 50 yards passing, and you hold the opposing quarterback to 2.8 quarterback rating, and you lose. I mean, that means your offense has to be like, sorry, is your offense doing anything? Now, with that being said, the Saints haven't been swept by the Panthers since 2015 season. You remember with Cam Newton? That's when they went 15-1. So that's understandable. Remember they lost that Super Bowl that year to the Broncos, but now they swept us. Carolina has swept us, and think about this. Carolina Panthers have swept us, and they fired their coach, and they got rid of their best offensive player, Christian McCaffrey, who's now with the 49ers. The Superdome, playing Carolina, that's one thing. We talked about this in the pregame. Even under Sean Payton, we've dominated in the NFC South, the Falcons and the Buccaneers, but not so much the Panthers. And we've almost played the Panthers better in Charlotte than in the Dome. We now have a 14-13 record in the Dome, and we have it now, and we have beaten the Panthers, and this is as of late. So we've beaten the Panthers 6 of the past 8 contests. So I thought we had their number, but not so fast. Now, to me, you look at the defense and how well we've played. The Saints had not given up 20, or I should say have given up now 20 or fewer points in 8 consecutive games. But what have you done for me lately? The last 4 games, they've given up basically 12 points a contest. Well, hell, we should be undefeated. And you look where we're at, and, it doesn't, people might say, well, it doesn't make a difference if you're 8-9 or 7-10. 7-10 is a lot worse. It sounds like that you're closer to losing than winning when you're 7-10 versus an 8-9 mark. Now, when I look at like you said, the game ball Kamara was running hard. I thought he was outstanding. He was at times 5.5 yards a carry, ended up like 4.7 with 107 yards total. Now, we didn't utilize him enough in the passing game. Now, I would think, okay, and you look Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill had 1 catch for 1 yard. Kamara had 1 catch for 3 yards. Mike, I don't think I'd ever witness that they wouldn't at least be in double digits. But Taysom Hill, total yards from scrimmage, he ended up having 25. Kamara 110 for a total of 135. That always has to be north of 150 yards. The combination of Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill and how they're going to contribute in that regard. The only thing I thought, well, I should say maybe tackling too, but this was obvious. The only area the defense was not good was third down defense. And that hadn't necessarily been the case because we've been like high 30s, low 40s. Carolina ended up being 8 of 14, 57%, where that's terrible from a defense perspective. But we were terrible offensively. We were only 4 of 13, 31% on
Bob,
third down.
a lot of that in the second half when they started to sort of gash the Saints running the ball, especially in the third quarter.
Yeah, they were getting those 6, 7 yard
before
runs.
Foreman got tossed in that game.
But he got tossed with Davenport and stuff. But I thought that's where the defense really struggled. But it's still, if you hold an opponent to 10 points, you should win. And then you +1 in the turnover margin. Like I said, at times, maybe the tackling because they were able, to still rush for 171 yards, a 4.2 yard average. But, Mike, when you count the sacks and all that, I talk about 43 yards passing. The net passing yards is only 32. So only on this NFL game is not a high school game. They had 32 net yards passing, and the refs didn't really call the flag. I think they just wanted the game to hurry up.
They said, man, this is the last game. We're not going to be flag happy.
They called
here.
4 penalties, 2 against the Saints, 2 against the Panthers. So you can't bring up all the refs cheated and all that. We were +1 for the turnover margin. Now we -11 for the season. Again, at -11 for the season, it's amazing we won 7 games. That would be like you'd be 3-14 or 4-13 by being -11, -12. We even got as worse as -14. We never could get in the single digits, and we closed out the season -11 in that turnover margin. I thought that Tyrann Mathieu has played better on the back end of the season. Marcus May had a couple of games, and he got hurt, so never got to really see that combination. But I thought Honey Badger closed out the season well. He led the team in tackles, had that interception. He forced a fumble. I thought on him and Lattimore ended up leading the team along with Demario Davis with 8 combined tackles, and Lattimore and him had 4 unassisted. And Demario Davis had also a tackle for a loss. But you know who has a nose for the football, Mike? And I want to say his touchdown total, because he was with Honey Badger with the Chiefs, is Daniel Sorensen. I mean, I don't know. He ended up having 2 picks in the season. Look at his limited number of snaps. I mean, he might have a nose for the football. I want to say in his career.
Now, I don't want him one-on-one in coverage much. But Mike, man, the ball's there.
Center fielder.
He knows where the ball is.
I think I want to say he has 14 or 15 interceptions now in his career. So good for him. I thought David Onyemata.
I thought he had his best game of the year. You look at the numbers, you can say, because, they got all these statistical guys. Everything is stats for them. You look at the pressures, the way he was able to blow up the inside pocket. Man, he was in the backfield more than Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And he gave him a lot of problems. I thought this was a very strong game for David Onyemata.
No, he was disruptive, and he looked like that he belonged as far as a big payday, how we paying him. Now you got to do that. Can you do that throughout a season? The one player who really stepped up on special teams, and I think we keep him around. I'll be interested, like with J.T. Gray. The reason why I bring up J.T. Gray, because we let Chris Banjo go, and then we let Justin Hardy go. Well, J.T. Gray is not only producing on special teams, but Mike, he's also producing on regular defense. When I looked at this, Mike, he had a sack today. So now if you look on the season, J.T. Gray now has 2.5 sacks. Who would have thought that? He has 2.5 sacks. He has quarterback hurries. He has 2 quarterback hurries. He has a tackle for loss, and he now has 7 unassisted tackles and 5 assisted, so 12 total leading the team. So that's you play Chiefs special teams guy like $1 million plus whatever. No, J.T. Gray produced, and he was at outstanding level. Now, who is not outstanding? What the hell's wrong with Will Lutz? I mean, Will Lutz. I mean, because games are going to come down to whether you make 40, 50-yard field goal.
A 44 and a 55 he missed today.
Okay, well, look, and it wasn't even close.
Nothing. The last one was really not even in there.
Well, if you look at it now, 40 to 49-yard field goals. All I know is he's kicked 8 and he's made 4. At worst, he needs to be 6 of 8 or not 7 of 8. You go, that's not that much. No, it's a major difference. He's 4 of 8 from 40 to 49 yards and 4 of 6 to 50-plus yards.
No.
That's not good.
Coming into this game, he was 4 or 5 from 50 to 59 yards. Look, in this league, that's really good. And then you would figure he flubs one today.
Yeah. No, and did you think their kicker was going to miss it at the end? I did.
Eddie Pinero?
No, he's going to make that, even though we know what happened against LSU, right, Mike?
It was in Gainesville, and he misses the extra point, and LSU ends up winning that game in one of the hottest games. Good Lord!
Right. But I said he ain't
being around in your life.
When I was watching, I said he ain't.
No, he ain't going to miss that. And I told you, I hope this game don't go into overtime, one way or another.
Well, who knows? The way the Carolina has been up and down, and the Saints, it could have been an overtime type game. The one thing that Coach Dennis Allen was outstanding. Mike, better than Sean Payton, challenging calls. He was 4 for 4. 4 for 4 on the season when he challenged calls. I guess the coaches telling him in the press box they're doing the right thing. So that was a good thing. But you know when I knew this game could be, I don't know what's going to happen now, is when you go to halftime.
The Olave fumble for me.
Wait. Okay. But wait, this also, that said, we're going to be in a dogfight. That when all of a sudden that Carolina goes 14 plays, 82 yards. It was basically like the 9-minute drive that we had against Philadelphia. And now it's 7-7. Okay, now we've seen the ball being fumbled around the end zone. Why don't we land on it? Whether it's our offense or defense. Darnold fumbles on the goal line, is going here, there, and everywhere, and then Michael Jordan recovers for a touchdown. Remember the 49ers game? The ball's going here and there and all that, and John Johnson has the chance to we don't recover. It seems like, I can see why we minus 11, minus 12.
Yeah, no question about that.
We have not had the ball bounce our way. But, Mike, what you were saying now about the
Olave fumble for me. I told you, we in trouble. Because that game, it should have been 10-0. It could have easily been 13-0, and possibly 17-0. And then you fumble the ball. I mean, good gracious.